Welcome back to the channel. I have been working in the greenhouse, recording some temperature and doing some testing like that, which I'll show you at the second part of this video. And as those recordings have been going on, I've been working on the outside raised bed gardens. So I've been needing to clean up the garden bed here, and you can see the ground looks pretty crazy with this layer of dirt. We had a big drift of snow back here in December, and then after the snow it blew. It was a windstorm and it blew dirt everywhere, and it was just a huge pile of mud. And now that the snow is melted, it's just left this hard layer of dirt on everything that snow and slush was on. So I'm just gonna take some time to work all that in, I guess, but everything's got this dirty look to it. Now that the snow has melted, though, we realized that there was something back here chewing on things, and you can see our peach tree right here. The limbs have been chewed. The bark's been chewed off of our peach tree limbs pretty badly, and so that was the first thing that we started seeing, was these limbs being chewed on. And other trees around have been chewed on. And then I went over here to my garden to look and see how things were, and there are piles and piles of rabbit manure. So looks like we've got quite the rabbit problem going on. There's just, I can't believe how much is in this raised bed right here. There, just a bunch of piles, and it's all over in here. If you look, you can see how much of this is all over in the raised bed. It's like we all of a sudden got a rabbit farm or something, just everywhere in this raised bed here, and quite a bit of it. So the good thing is rabbit manure is called cold manure. You don't have to get it out. It'll be okay to be in the raised bed. This one has some too, but bunnies, I guess, don't like the garlic shoots because they didn't chew on it. They just were laying in here or something. You can see the garlic doesn't have any chew marks, but there's definitely been rabbits in here. So this bed didn't have as much in here, probably because there wasn't so much plants in here. But yeah, definitely got a rabbit problem for this year. So I don't have to worry about getting the rabbit manure out. It'll be fine. It can mix in there. It's not going to ruin the plants, which is a good thing. So I'm going to work on getting these dead plants out for now and get this bed covered. Here's some of the roots from a kale plant that was from last year. It's still got quite a few roots. It's pretty big. So here's what the bed looks like. Kind of cleaned up a little bit. This one didn't have too much left in it. I had gotten this one cleaned out and it's got the garlic going. This one had the cold kale and broccoli, which likes the cooler, so I had left them in, but now they're out and I can get this covered. Here's my cover. I covered it with some black plastic so it can break down some of the stuff that's in the bed and warm up the soil. And I've got lots of bricks so it doesn't blow away because we've had quite the wind. And hopefully that'll get the soil ready for planting. This one I didn't cover the garlic because it's already growing. Didn't want to burn that, but covered the rest of it so it can not freeze, hopefully, and we'll be ready to plant some of the cool crops here in a couple weeks. Now here we are at the greenhouse, and I'll show you what I've been doing. I got this data logger. I just put it on the shelf right here for testing. So here's my test, and you can see from the graph a couple of days worth of testing the temperature and humidity. And the lows outside were pretty low, and it didn't get too warm. Alright, so here is the graph from the data logger in the software. You can see here this is the temperature line and the green is the humidity line. So it has the date and the time when you click each point on the graph. It's a 24-hour time that it shows. And to start off, I start on the 16th at 15:49, which is about 3. And coming along here, you can see the time goes up till we hit the new day, the 17th. The temperature just keeps going down. The lowest that day was 19, and it records 19 that day. So then the temperature goes pretty high, 69 at 11, and at noon it's still climbing pretty high. So the sitting on the shelf there, it gets pretty hot, and then the temperature will fall all the way back down, 27 here. So there's a big difference between temperature at all these points. Then here's the new day, again, the 18th now, and the temperature falls a little further. The recorded temperature low was 10, so 14 here. It stayed just a little bit above the recorded low, and then climbs all the way back up in the over 100 there this day. So again, temperature swings pretty high, sitting on that shelf. And the humidity is pretty low in here too. You can see all across all these days the humidity goes pretty low during the day. And again, a new day. This one doesn't go quite so low. We have 18 here. The recorded low is 17, so pretty close. Then 129 in the afternoon. Right here I opened a window in the afternoon and it cooled off pretty quick and doesn't go as high anymore. Could be because of the window, it could be because it's the afternoon, or both. Either way, it cools off a little bit, and then again the temperature falls. So we hit a new day, and the data logger runs out of storage space for recording. But either way, we have quite a few temperature swings throughout these couple of days, all the way from 126 here down to our 14 degrees as the low. So quite a big difference for temperature in here right now. So after I did the first testing here, I was visiting with somebody and got the idea. The ground in this greenhouse hasn't been frozen. It's been covered all winter, obviously. And I bet that the ground has absorbs a lot more heat than maybe the air temperature is. So I decided to run this test again for a couple of days, just to see what the ground was like. And as the data logger was recording there on the ground, we had snow, which is great. It just adds to what is recorded for being in the greenhouse, and I was glad that I had things covered outside. So here's the graph from while it was sitting on the ground there, and you can see it looks a little bit different. The lows weren't as low as the previous ones I showed you, and it was actually warmer outside during these days too, so it was a good test. Okay, so here is the graph from being on the ground, and you can see that the temperature doesn't go as high. So that's one thing that I noticed right away. And the dates are off down here. I am not sure why, but they are a little bit. So here, the first day, 1753, which is about 5:53, is when I started. Oh, gotta move my graph back. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So that's when I started it. Here, new day is here. We got the 22nd. This day is the day that I put the plastic out on the garden. So the lowest that day recorded was 32, but the lowest outside was 24, so we didn't even hit that day. And it was really windy that day, so it might be why this graph is kind of weird. Like I said, I put the plastic out, and the highest temperature it reached in here was only here in the 70s, and the highest outside that day was 42. So it didn't swing too much either way, cold or hot, on the ground here. So that's the first day. A new day here. Here's the new day, the 23rd, which doesn't show down here for some reason. You can see it doesn't even go below 32. It stays above freezing. And outside temperature recorded was 24. So we're staying above freezing right here on the ground for that day. We woke up to 3 inches of snow this day, the 23rd. And then it got up to 50 degrees outside. And the temperature went up to 90s, 94 here. And then I went inside to check on things, so it dipped. But still didn't even reach the hundreds this day, which was great. So quite a difference in the spikes here from high to low here on the ground. Here, a new day here again, and we're well above freezing this day, here in the 40s even. So the recorded low outside was 28, but we're well above that here on the ground this day. And like I said, it had been 50 the previous day, and this day it was windy and got up to 53 this day. So it might be why the graph is kind of choppy. But again, it didn't spike too high. It still stayed below 100 here on the ground, just kind of up and down. The highest here was 94, 93, 94. And then it goes down again. So right about, stays pretty consistent. Then here we go to, again, another day, the 25th. And the highest, the 25th, was 32. It was really windy and really cold this day. So inside, I was up to 35 here. It was at 10 o'clock, and it wasn't getting warm. Like I said, it was really cold this day and really windy, and roads around here were closing and stuff. So from the highest to the lowest on these recorded days is a lot smaller. It doesn't swing so hard as the previous recorded days, and it's amazing to see the difference from the ground to the shelving here. So overall, I think all this temperature testing showed me that I need to take out some shelves in this greenhouse, and I can grow things right on the ground. Probably bok choy and spinach would just be happy in here. The ground is warm enough. And even outside, if I can keep the snow off of it, the ground's warm enough to grow some plants outside. So it's pretty interesting. I'll probably run these tests some more and just see what happens. And I can show you that when I do. Thanks for watching.